We're in the Philippines, and they don't quite have the safety regulations everybody does here. So we had no helmets on, there was no seat belts, and these things are pretty hopped up. So Joe Chin was doing a beat 5 miles an hour, getting lapped, and Barry and I were just zooming around the place, and we kept hitting each other. Nobody cared what was going on. I was trying to take him on the inside. I'm a big NASCAR fan, so I had it all planned out. I'm going to show this Irish guy how to race. And he just slams his car into the front of mine, cuts it off. The front of the nose of the car actually caught, the big wheels they put in the middle so you don't crash. And my whole car went up in the air, landed on its side. I had scraped up my arm, and my ribs were all bruised. And I had to go back and shoot a reveal the next day, and I'm all banged up. My director said, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Nothing, we didn't do anything."
Was that because you were talking on the walkie?
What's that, mate? Yeah. No one's trying to go cars on walkie.
I didn't go fast. Dang walkies.
Hi guys, I just want to say I'm a big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Especially Steve and Tango's antics.
Thanks, man.
A couple of years ago, you guys investigated I think it was a restaurant or an old house where they had pneumatic prop that was moving around the
Moss Beach Distillery in California.
Yeah. You guys have since your success on TV, and you see more of that with people trying to get you to come out to the house and get some TV camera time?
Well, no, to be honest with you, I think we see less of that because more people are worried that they're going to be called out on national TV. All they had to do was tell us about that. And Moss Beach Distillery, the thing was, we talked to the chef after. We said, "Well, why didn't you tell us this? Well, you knew we were going to find it." He said, "Well, the owner told me to put it." So, to his defense, I kind of felt bad for him on that. But you do get that. You just always need to keep your eyes open. But it's a rarity. It really is. We had one guy who built a speaker inside a wall, and so we've had different cases with that.
But then leaving like at the Queen Mary, we almost thought we had some amazing evidence. If Tango's keen magician eyes over here didn't see that little thing moved, we would have been made fools of.
I'm sorry, I gotta do. Marv is here, so.
I love that costume.
What's up, Marv?
I actually have an equipment question. It seems like you guys start all your investigations using an EMF detector, but that never seems to hold up as real evidence during a case. I'm wondering why you don't start with the K2 immediately.
Well, the EMF detectors, its main purpose isn't to find evidence, it's to disprove. So, you're using that to find things that could make people feel creeped out, because electromagnetic field, if it's high enough, will make you feel paranoid or just generally spooked out. So we're going around with that, trying to find any of those situations before we actually go in and investigate. So we're not looking necessarily for evidence per se.
And there's a lot of stuff you'll never see, a lot of equipment you'll never see on TV for whatever reason. They're just showing what you're all used to seeing, I guess. And we have been bringing a lot more equipment in recently, which will be showing up on the future episodes.
Hi, I know that Tax Family is a bunch of pranksters, and I can remember when there was an instance with Dave and a tiara as an initiation.
No, there was a headline.
I'm wondering if Joe got initiated in any way.
We actually just were busting Joe's chops a little bit on International recently. I'm not sure about his American debut, but we were doing a case recently, and one of the claims was that if you didn't act respectfully to the lady of the house, who apparently was still there, that she would vocally let you know it's time to leave. And so we were just conducting our investigation. Joe's sitting at the bottom of the stairs. I was kind of rummaging around one of the closets, and I found a big old top hat. And I told Joe, I said, "Joe, you need to put this hat on." And he's looking at me, he's like, "Why?" I said, "Well, because the woman doesn't like if you disrespect her. And in this culture, if you don't remove your hat when you enter the house, you're going to get in trouble." And sure enough, he left it on. And we had to walk in room to room. I had him on thermal camera. It just looks hilarious. He looked like a magician. He kept taking it off.
It looked like only in Stanley. He was tall and I was short with the big hat.
And she's wearing your shirt. Awesome.
My question is for the international team. Do you learn, because of the language,
Do you learn a couple phrases when you go into a house?
Yeah, we
Like what
actually
the Fed show or something like that. I see that in Lithuanian.
we break down amongst the team. We usually take a list of questions between 5 and 10 per investigator in each language, not just the language of the country, but also the language of the people who would have been there at the time. A lot of these, the castles would have been nobles and aristocrats would have known maybe 2 or even 3 languages. But what we've actually noticed is that there's a case that I'll be hearing in January, and I'm hoping that this part makes it in. I was doing a solo investigation, and I was using my incredible 3 years of high school Spanish, and I was using that, and I was also using English. And within a 5-minute period, I had asked the same question in both languages, and was able to capture an EVP that was correctly in response to my question both times, and both times it came in English. So I thought that was interesting that I would use both languages, but yet I get the response both times in English. So we always do put in the effort. Of course, it gets a little more difficult in some of the Asian countries and such. Joe does know a little bit of Chinese, so that works out well.
Very little though. It's really tough for language for me. I did fail Chinese school as a kid. So that's embarrassing.
Surprised I didn't kick you out of your family.
But I do know a little bit of phrases. The good words.
Yeah, sure, Joe. Joe is also known as Mr. Inappropriate. It's like somebody will make a joke, somebody will one-up them, and then there goes Joe Chin, all the way into completely unusable.
You gotta have fun, right?
Hi, I just wanted to say I really appreciate you guys bringing the scientific method to the field so that we can see it, because I felt like before I started seeing your show, it was all mediums and there was no debunking, and I really appreciate that. My question isn't really related to that, it's for Steve and Tango. Steve, they show you touching a lot of stuff, and I was wondering if you've broken anything, and Tango, how nervous does that make you when you're with him?
You know, he touches weird stuff too. Everything's a button to him. Moss stuff. Not that he's a dirty person. It's just, he just wants to know what it is. He's like a detective. He's touching stuff. But sometimes, leave it alone.
I've never broken anything, luckily. At one point, Jay and I have a pretty good relationship. You know, he doesn't get on my case too much, and But one time we were in a certain place at a museum, and there was one of those statues, one of those movable animatronic things. And they're saying, "Hey man, welcome to my prison," all this stuff. And so I went up and I played with the fingers a little bit, and I realized there was chicken wire in there. So I said, "All right, this is cool." So I bent up the fingers and crazy things, and Jay comes in. "What happened to that effing statue?" I said, the first time ever, he takes me outside, and he's angry. He's not angry. He's not angry with me. We don't do that, because he thought I took the fingers and snapped them and messed them all up, but I finally told him, I
think it was the gesture you made with the hands.
More than just that, Steve. Well, one was, let's not.
There are children in the audience.
Thank you.
Yeah, Steve touches a lot of stuff.
And Tango, how nervous do you get when he's doing that?
I mean, I fear for the guy. One of these days, he's gonna touch something who's in an infection. He's gonna have like crazy puffy hands.
Hey, remember we ate those like 600-gram peppers?
That was fun.
What?
It was nasty.
Yeah, they were like military rations from like 200 years ago or something. So we opened it up, it smelled like feet and cheese.
Yeah.
So naturally we ate it. We still got into the can and tried a couple of them.
Trying to get deep in there.
Yeah, I think a few of our guys were with us and may have taken a bite or two.
Okay, the mommy in me says, don't do that again. No.
Yeah, that's gross.
Yeah.
Then I stuck them.
Oh, look at this guy.
I'm not sure who this guy is, but...
Oh, God.
Do you recognize me?
Yeah.
Are you nervous?
Yes. Guys, this is Jim Dugan, the producer of the show.
Think about our times on the road and what an enjoyable time we had with you guys. Thinking about some of our favorite moments.
Oh boy, here we go.